So good evening, all of you. So what we covered on day 3. So parameterization, verification points. These two are the core things that we covered on yesterday's session. So parameterization. So under parameterization, we have seen following things. There are 3 ways I can do mainly parameterization. 1, data parameterization. Data parameterization is about managing with the database. Second, you have properties verification. So any object we want to compare its properties, then we can go ahead with properties verification. Third, image verification. So we have taken an image and we have seen how the image is verified, compared. So we have seen there are 2 important components we have seen. Verification point for an object suffixed with VP in the script, and this object is part of your test object map window where it will be under verification point. So object dot verification point, and if you want to add, you can add retry parameters as well. This has to be part of the script. This is what we have understood under parameterization. Sorry, under verification. It is about verification point. So under parameterization, we have seen data pool. So how to create a data pool and associating, so activity involved, create data pool for project, associate data pool for script, very important point. Then map data pool candidate to the literals in the script. So this is what the activity involved under parameterization. So parameterization, how many data pools I can create per project? I can create a number of data pools for a project. How many data pools can be associated for the script? I can associate only one data pool for the script. Right? So one candidate, can it be matched to many candidates? One data pool candidate, can it be matched to many literals in the script? Answer is yes. For each iteration, the data pool candidate will move the records. So that is what we have seen. We are not putting any loop statement or anything or parameterization to move the record. It is being done automatically. Verification point. It is for comparing expected versus actual. Right? So we do have data verification, properties verification, image verification. So these are all the 3 verification points we have seen on in yesterday's session. So what we are going to do today, dynamic object management. This is where we start with today's content. Managing virtual verification points on dynamic content. So in case the content is varying, example as I said earlier, if the order number that it is being generated, you have successfully saved order and your order number is XYZ. That order number, if it is changing, how the script is going to manage that data. Getting some data from the application, get properties, and log and printing to the console, JavaScript. The last two portions might be extended to tomorrow, we don't know. Log we'll see today, because for getting the properties we need to log it. Dynamic object, managing verification point on dynamic content, get properties, log. These four contents I hope we can easily complete it in today's session. If you have any queries as on this, you can put it in the chat. We'll discuss on those queries. Right. So let me start now. I'm starting from understanding the dynamic object. That is where I'm starting in today's session. This is what we have seen yesterday, the script that you are seeing in the screen now. So this is what we have seen on yesterday's verification points that we have added. So we are going to have first is understanding dynamic object and then managing a verification point for a dynamic object. So this is what we are going to see today. So I record now. I say the dynamic object. Finish. I'm opening an application, classic Java. I like to now just record one full event and then I'll try to see how we get into a dynamic object. So I go with the place order. Dynamic object can be in any situation. During this dynamic object management, we will also see how to get the property. So I place order. So when this kind of error message comes, you need to be very careful in the script because we need to remove the dependent lines before we actually execute the script. So this I'm trying to now get from this object. I like to get this 96 order number I want to retrieve back. If I like to retrieve this order number, please note, I like to retrieve the order number from this object. To do that, I am going inside this verification point screen. I am doing it as a record. So I am placing my hand symbol onto the object which I want to retrieve. You can see now this is the object from which I like to retrieve. And I am getting the properties now, get property value. So I am getting the property now from the message that you are seeing on the screen. So how I did it, I just redo that, cancel it. I redo it. I click on to this verification point. You are not getting the tooltip. So this is my verification point wizard. I click on to that. I use the hand symbol to point to the object from which I like to retrieve the information. I am putting it onto the label. This is the label I like to retrieve it. And what is that you want to retrieve? I like to retrieve the property value of that label. right? What is the property that you would like to retrieve? I'm just proceeding to the next. These are all the properties available. Which property you would like to retrieve? What is that you want to retrieve? I like to retrieve now from this property the text. The text is the what I like to retrieve. So we have retrieved it. Now we have selected that text. I said next. So this is the variable name. Need to declare the variable. You cannot go ahead without declaring the variable. I make it small as variable name. I say now MSG message. So I put it as a message. I finish it. Now I have done my job. So object is your order has been received. Property that I retrieved is text. Data type, it is a string data type. That's perfect. I finished it. My job is done now on retrieval. And also we are getting into a dynamic object situation. The reason for the dynamic object is this order number 96 of this label keeps changing. You all agree this will keep changing when I place the order. I say okay. As a base state, I need to close the window. The reason is I started with by opening the window. I now stop the record. So the script is now ready. It is it has got generated. Now, if we have made an error in the script as we recorded, so I just close this verification point script. I have only the dynamic object script. So we need to ensure that error, wherever we made an error, it has been removed. First is we need to see whether it has got recorded or not. Place order, OK button. This is, you can see here, there is a initial input. After that, the place order to click and then OK button. Then I have typed the expiration date. So this is the place where it has got generated the error, right? Of course, if you type it again you will access it with the error. It is better I remove this. Right? And we have, because this is the one, this OK tool is the error guide. And then expiration date, place order 2, then I remove the string. You can see that the string is now copied into a message. From which object? This is the object on which I get the property. I got the property. Which property I have taken it out? Text is the property, I have taken it out. Now this object from which I have taken the material, right? So your order has been received on yours. So that is the left hand side. The right hand side, if you see, that is this is object. Your order has been received. So if I just try to open that object, you can see now in this, the property that you see, the accessible name, you can see now this, your order has been received, your order number is 96, right? So this is having a weightage of 100, that means the score will be 10,000 because we know now this 96 is going to fail. Because when I create the order again, it may not be the same 96. So we will see first the failure. If it, because it is 10,000, since it is 10,000, it cannot fail. It may go ahead with warning, right? So let us see that and see what happens. So that is one. So this is the object recognition properties. This recognition properties has that important candidate, that 96, which is dynamic in nature. This is for the label management. The second, we are now getting the information, and that getting the information uses that object and it gets get property from the text. That's perfect. I like to now pass this text into the log. There are two ways I can do it. One, I want to put it in the log. Log means once we complete the report, let us first run it, see what happens, then we move on to the next level. So I'll now click onto the play button. Dynamic object is the report name. That's fine. I finish the run. No parameterization, nothing we have done. It will invoke the application. Now you can see that 74 is the one. Your order has been received. He is trying to recognize that your order has been received now. So we will see whether he fails or whether he continues to access that OK button. He is trying to retrieve the get. So he is able to close it. He is able to successfully finish it up, and he has came up with the report as well. So now you can see the way the report is. So application started, that's perfectly fine. Now if you see here, object recognition is weak above the warning threshold. So you can see now recognition score is 15,000, warning threshold is 10,000. So object is found, recognition score is 15,000, warning threshold is 10,000. Your order has been received. Your order number is 74. This accessible name has been received. Name, option label, class index. This is the object recognition properties used. Right? Script name dynamic object. That's perfect. So now we got the get property on label. But what is the value that we are not able to see it on this screen? So I want to put the value onto the screen. That is my one job. Before I do that, I like to manage. I don't want this recognition to be weak. I want this recognition to be smooth. Because I know this will be always, this 74 will change. So that is my first step. So I use the get property to make sure that I work on the object that is dynamic. So I use the get property. Of course, he is able to get the property, it is perfect. There is no problem. After only recognition of object, he can get the label name. Right? Otherwise, he cannot get the label if the object is failed. Let me fail this object completely. That means what? I need to change some more recognition properties. I change it, fail it, see what happens to the script. So I close the window. I'm coming back to the functional test. I'm opening the test object map that is related to the label. In this label, I change this name property as well. Right? There is a text property. Oh, text property is also failing. That is very good. So I like to change the weightage of this text property. So can I change it? Of course I can change it over here. I change the text property because accessible name is also there. Text property is also there. So both I make it now 100%. So let us see how the failure happens. Is it failing or still is it managing? Now I change the weightage only. So weightage is changed. That means it has become 20,000. Let us see what happens. So now the property is able to manage for the threshold is class and the class index and the name. This is the property he is able to manage it without any problem. So I save this, I close it, I run the script. I am running the script now. Finish. So now text is fully going to fail. Maximum threshold of course 20,000. So that is also you need to have a note. Now he is trying to recognize the object. So now it is 86. He is retraining or he is waiting for the object for in case the object is changing by itself. So he waits for some default time. Usually it is 10 seconds.